Let's talk about variables. Imagine a box that you can use to store something, for example, a number. You can also label this box to describe what's inside it. In programming and mathematics, this box is called a variable, and the label you put on it is the variable's name. The idea of use of variables is simple. Variables are used to store information that you might want to refer to or change later on. Once you've stored a value in a variable, you can change it later if you need to. Using variables with descriptive names makes your code or equations easier to understand. You can use the same variable in different parts of your code or equations, which makes them more compact and easier to manage. In PowerShell, all variables starts from the $sign. Let's go through an example to better understand variables. First, we create a variable and give it a name. For example, let's name our variable $box. We use an equal sign to assign it a value, like placing something into it. For the calling variable, we just call for its name and the output will be the value of this variable. Here, we've created a variable named $box, and it stored the number 0 in it. You can change the value stored in the variable at any time. Let's change the value of the box to a 5. Now, when we call for variable $box, it returns us 5. A variable is like a labeled box where you can store a value. You can change the value inside the box, and you can use this value in various operations. Let's make a few more examples. We can execute and define another variable like box2, and its value will equal 9. Now we'll use another mathematical operator of addition. This is a plus sign. We'll talk about all operators in upcoming lessons. When we execute this expression, you can see the result of the output. Or let's change it to minus. Let's see more practical examples, like the use of a variable in a string or placing out output into a variable. We make other variables of first name and last name and assign them. Or, for example, we can execute some cmdlet and assign its output to a variable. Just for a better understanding of this expression, we are saying that the variable $result will be equal to the result of this expression. So, as an interpreter, our PowerShell console executes this expression, receives the output, and assigns it to a variable $result. And then we can call for $result at any time and see its output or do with it other manipulations. When naming variables, choosing descriptive and clear names is important so it's easy to remember what's stored in each variable. For example, if you're storing a person's age, you might name the variable age instead of something less clear like A or X. The readability of the code becomes a lot harder. Variable names don't like spaces or other signs, so please type all variable names only using the letters. One of the best practices is the use of camel casing, which means typing each word of a variable will start with a capital letter, and leave the first letter to be lowercase. And we will talk about this one later when we start talking about PowerShell functions. PowerShell does have built-in variables that can be used in different scenarios like $true and $false. You will see that we are going to use them during other lessons and different scenarios, and it will become more clear about other usage. To get all PowerShell variables in the current session, you can use getVariable.